Hey, good morning, you guys. I am actually up in the morning, um, like normal people, for a change. Last few days, I've been basically, and just so you know, this is pretty much how my desk looks most of the time, while I'm working and stuff. But, anyways, the last few days, I have been, oh my God, sorting out, a 52-pound box of stuff that I purchased off of eBay. A bunch of ephemera and, stuff like that. Lots of stuff that was very, very usable. I think I wound up with maybe, I don't know, maybe 15 pounds of stuff that, I wasn't really interested in using. And, I don't know what I'm going to do with that stuff, but I might wind up just taking it to Goodwill or something like that. But I'll just put it away for a while and, figure out, maybe pull it out again in, a couple weeks and see if there's, for sure nothing in there that I really want to use. But I wound up with some pretty cool stuff. I was actually really, really happy about most of it. And there were pictures, so I was able to see, a good selection, a good sampling, I should say, of what was in there before I actually bid on it. But anyway, one of the things that I thought was pretty neat was some of these old, like insurance premium books. Back in the day, your insurance man would come around and collect premium once a week or once a month or whatever, and in person. And then they recorded that in these books. So there was quite a few of these. This is one that I'm actually saving for my son. I took the pages out of it. I might put those back in here for him. But he's actually a MetLife agent, so he thought this was pretty neat. I had sent him a text message and said, hey, do you think you could check and see if anything ever paid out on this policy? But anyway, so he asked me to save this for him, so I'm going to hang on to it for him. Maybe we'll frame it or something and hang it up in his office. But there were some other ones that I thought were pretty cool too. There was another lot that I had gotten before this last one that I was actually going through on my live stream on Sunday, and it was mostly just like pamphlets and stuff. Different types of publications that were like in pamphlet form, and so I gutted those out, and I basically have started making those pamphlets into journal covers, and just to kind of make them a little bit heavier and a little bit more sturdy, I've taken a piece of like construction paper, actual like children's construction paper, or 2 sheets in some cases, and just kind of lined the inside of the cover with that, and then stitched fabric all on the inside to kind of give it a little bit more weight. So some of them have turned out pretty cool. These are some of the other insurance pamphlet or booklets that I had from the most recent lot. But and this is these are two other ones from different companies, a little bit bigger. And then I wound up with a couple of these. So, but each of them is lined with some coffee dyed, like ticking fabric or duck cloth or something like that. So, and some of them are, very industrial, and I kind of like that, you know. Like, this one was interesting. It's like that. It's a kind of like, see, it says it's confidential, not to be taken into the air or into front lines trenches. Issued down to include officers, pilots, and observers of the artillery and the air service. So this was like, you know, for pilots, basically, you know, and not to fall into the hands of the enemy. So there's some interesting stuff inside that. But anyway, so I just kind of wanted to show you guys what I've done with some of that stuff. And I'm going to make these into journals. So like little mini junk journals. Using some of that ephemera, and then, you know, coffee dyed paper and things like that. So these are a little bit different than what I normally do, but I have been really enjoying making the little minis lately. So, you know, I thought that was kind of cool. This one is, you know, very, I don't know. I like this one a lot. It's kind of super junky, right? So it's this tool manufacturer. This was a catalog of theirs. So those I have put together. Haven't counted them, but it's probably, you know, almost 20 or so. And I'm just keeping those kind of rubber banded together. My sewing machine, me and that sewing machine, I swear, we're just going to throw down one of these days. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's jamming up and it's just irritating me. Anyway, so here's some other covers that that I was working on before the machine died. These are the the traveler's notebook size that I forget which size they are, but it's like the 4x6 size. Anyway, these are some covers that I was working on, like I said, before the machine died. And so they're basically just blank inside. But this is how they, you know, start out. Very similar to these, you know, these little chunky minis that I have had in my shop that are almost gone. I saved this one out to keep for myself, but I think there's one left maybe in the store. But anyway, these are kind of similar to that, so that's kind of what they're going to turn out like, I think. But yeah, just kind of collaged sort of imagery, and, you know, some is just, you know, the pamphlet cover, and you can see like they're pretty old, like, and I'm not going to treat this or anything with anything. I'm not going to coat it with anything. It's, you know, it just is the way it is. And you know, if somebody wants to do that with it, then yeah, at that point it's yours. You can do whatever you want. But so yeah, I'll just kind of flip through those a little bit. And these are actually from some old vintage sewing patterns that I have. Just pulled out some images that I liked. This is like a flyleaf from a book that I've had for a while. So, but I thought it was really pretty. So this is just, you know, kind of how I normally work. You know, I work in batches, you know. And it makes it look like, you know, I make a ton of journals all the time or something, which I guess in a way I kind of do, but I don't really think I turn out necessarily more journals than anybody else does, like on a regular basis. I just happen to work on a lot at one time, so I kind of then finish a whole bunch at one time too. Anyway, so these are some smaller ones that I am finishing, or, you know, working on, and these each have 2 pockets inside. So this is the beginning of, embellishing the covers. And a lot of this is ephemera from those 2 lots that I picked up off of eBay. So I'm definitely getting a lot of use out of that stuff, So basically what I've done on those is I just took a piece of coffee dyed duck cloth and tore it into usable sizes, that would fit on the covers of these. And since my sewing machine went kaput for the time being, I'm just gluing this on to these covers. Once I get the machine fixed, I may come back in and just do some stitching around the edges. So I've done that on, each of these. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I work in processes. I attached the duck cloth on all of them. And then now what I'm doing is going back and attaching some kind of, image or something on each one. And that's kind of where I'm at now. So these are some tags that I made up last year sometime, and with the intention of using them in this way, for some journal covers. So, and also like as tuck spots and stuff like that. And most of these are product packaging. That's what most of them are made out of. Some of them are made out of like just coffee dyed coloring book, that real heavy coloring book that they had at Michael's last year. So anyway, that's sort of where I am. And what I like to do is put some brads in the corners. I just think it gives them a nice look. It makes them look, finished, and I'm not using them to attach the piece necessarily to the journal cover. It's mostly just there for embellishment or whatever. But yeah, so I don't really pay too much attention to whether those are even or or whatever. I just, I'm not measuring anything. I never measure anything, hardly. I'm not even really paying too much attention to whether these brads are all the same color. Yeah, so I'll put a brad in each corner, and then let's see, I do want one at least that same style. There we go. And then I'll just glue it on to the cover here. So just, in being that this is kind of the way I like to work, making up a bunch of tags ahead of time, and preparing a whole bunch of journal covers ahead of time. I guess, maybe that kind of gets me to I love the whole thing, but my favorite part of making junk journals is the embellishment and like the final finishing of each book. So, and then, like I said, each one of these has a pocket on the inside. So just using hot glue, and, I would be using my sewing machine, but this works just as well, The hot glue is pretty sturdy on paper, it definitely will hold paper firmly. So get the glue residue off. So that one is, for the most part, ready to go. I mean, it's ready to, get a signature sewn in, and, maybe, some kind of embellishment or something on the pockets, and then filled with some tags, and, little pieces of ephemera and things like that. So yeah, back in there in the pile. And then I also have some other stuff that I thought would be kind of neat to use on some of these. I've got a bunch of these old, like old pictures, you know. These are like cigarette cards or whatever. And then these cards, which are kind of weird. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but they all have a different, you know, picture of a person on them. And then these are like these trading cards, you know. There was like 4 or 5 decks of them in that box of stuff. So I thought I'd use some of those. And there's all these just like photographs, you know, and these were in like little packages and stuff. So almost like postcards, but a lot of these have writing on them. So almost like just, you know, like handwritten messages on the back, or like an identification of where that is. So, you know, I don't know if they're postcards or not, but so anyway, I picked out a bunch of those that I liked and that were kind of formatted vertically to use, and some tally cards, because I thought some tally cards would be cute on the front of some of these. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one on here. I'm going to make it so that it won't open though, just for, you know, to protect it basically. So what I'm going to do is just attach it. This is just a piece of coffee dyed watercolor paper. So I'm going to glue this on there. Just kind of give it a little bit of a border. Trim that out. And I'm going to go ahead and just distress the edges of that a little bit. Trying to make sure I'm in frame, you guys. I'm sorry. And I'll go ahead and ink it just a little bit. And yeah, since this opens and I definitely don't want it opening, I'm just going to glue it shut. It's just too fragile, you know. Anyway, and then I think I am going to put some brads in the corners. Let's see, there we go. So I'm going to use the black ones. Ouch. I hate these things sometimes. And I have a doctor's appointment today, so I was going to try to sleep a little more, but whoops. Another black one. Here we go. Wait, there. But I have to be at the doctor here in a few hours, so I thought, well, I'll just come make a video. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the tassel just kind of hanging loose there, and then I'll figure out what to do with it later. I'll probably wind up, you know, like stapling it to something, or, you know, something like that. Trying to make sure I stay away from the very edge there so that the book can still open easily. So yeah, there's another one. And I really like when they get to this point, because that's when they really start feeling like, you know, they could be done soon. So okay, so I went to Joann's yesterday because I needed some more fabric, right? And so they have this huge display of utility fabrics, right? So with the utility fabrics is the duck cloth. And they literally have probably, I don't know, maybe 20 colors of duck cloth. And there are these huge bolts, right? So anyways, right in there, so there's two shelves, you know, they're kind of angled, each one. And so they have all the duck cloth on the top shelf, and then all the other utility fabrics on the bottom shelf at my Joann's. So anyways, there's a big sign on it that says 50% off all utility fabrics. So I'm like, right on, you know, so I take, you know, get all the bolts that I want and different fabrics that I want, and one of them happened to be like a beige or kind of, no, actually like a brown duck cloth, and then like a green. So anyway, so I have her cut a yard of each of those for me. I'm at the counter, I'm at the checkout, and I have a couple of 50% off regular price item coupons and stuff like that. And I had gotten, you know, some other stuff. I got some wire because I want to try to make some like boho style tassels. So anyways, I needed some wire and some other stuff. Anyways, so we're at the check stand, and I'm asking her if the duck cloth came up, you know, 50% off. And she goes, well, it's not a utility fabric. And I'm like, okay, well, it's right there with all of the other utility fabrics. And yes, it is a utility fabric. It's very utilitarian, right? Anyway, she goes, well, not in our system. And I was like, well, you know what? Your sign says that all of the utility fabrics are on sale at 50% off. And that sign is mounted on the shelf with the duck cloth. So how are you going to tell me that it's not 50% off? So then she calls back to the lady back in the, you know, cutting table. And she goes, so where's the duck cloth located? And she's like, what? You know, and she's like, where's the duck cloth located? And the lady goes, in the utility fabric section. And she goes, okay, well, so where's the sign in relation to the duck cloth? And I just went, you know what? It doesn't matter where the freaking sign is, okay? Like, does it matter? And there's not to mention there's like 5 people behind me in line, and it's like 8:45 at night and they're getting ready to close. But you know what? I don't care. It's like, it's on principle. You know what I mean? It's so frustrating. So because what was happening is their system was taking my discount from my coupon and applying it to the duck cloth and not to one of the other regular price items that I, you know, was purchasing. So I was paying full price for the other items. And anyways, so she's like, well, I'll go ahead and discount it, you know, 50%. And I was like, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. You know, like, anyway, it was just irritating. It's kind of like going into Michael's with a coupon and they tell you, oh, well, that doesn't apply to the everyday low price items like the glue all. Anyway, coupons. So here we are, and this is basically, you know, what I'm doing is putting together journal covers. So thanks for listening to me rant about that. I appreciate it. So, I don't know. I just have to keep trying different ones until I find one that, I really like. So, like that one. I like that one. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. And I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys and let you know I'm still alive and that kind of stuff. And kind of show you what I've been up to the last couple of days. I'm going to use these little heart-shaped brads on here. I usually don't like hearts on stuff, but I guess it's Valentine's Day, isn't it? Yeah, Steven's sleeping. We're having a sort of a blizzard today. It's the first time it snowed in the last, I don't know, probably month, here in Spokane. But it's a pretty decent snow we're having right now, so I'm kind of liking it, and I'm going to make him get out in it with me. He's not used to it, being from Texas, from Houston, Apparently it doesn't snow there very often. Anyways, yeah, so I am thinking about trying to live stream on another day during the week. If you guys are interested in doing that, let me know, like, in the comments, what day would be a good day, you think. Because I don't know when a whole lot of other people that you watch live stream, and, I know some people, but I was kind of thinking Wednesday, maybe. So, let me know if Wednesday works for you guys, and it would be, like, in the evening-ish, like, say, 4 or 5 p.m. Pacific time. Or if another evening works for anybody, or just whatever, I would just like to know, because I'd like to do another live stream, another day during the week. So, all right, so I will come back, and let you guys know, or let you guys see kind of how these are progressing, over the next few days. And I am getting the, drawing, gifts shipped out today. I apologize. It took me a little bit longer to get that together since I added 3 additional, gifts to that. So, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. And thanks for all your support, you guys. I do appreciate that as well. So anyway, you guys take care and, try to stay out of trouble while I'm not watching you. Okay. All right. Bye.